right, Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a whole year. Well, maybe not quite. Hey, thank you so much
Hours.
for joining, right?
Weeks.
Weeks, hours. Thank you so much for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. It's a new year, and we're already seeing changes across the state, so we're going to help you navigate what they mean for you. Plus, Cece, I know you're covering the latest on a tragic incident that happened in New Orleans.
Yeah, horrible way to start the morning. We know multiple people are dead after a vehicle plowed through a crowd on Bourbon Street. So we've got the latest from police as that investigation continues this afternoon.
Absolutely. And we also want to take a look at the weather. No snow outside, but the cold definitely there.
Yeah, you feel that right away. Other than just a few fine scattered flurries that were falling earlier on, it's going to be pretty dry. It's just noticeably colder. Our temperature is close to 20 at this hour. The wind chill, it is dropping back with the westerly winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Drops the wind chill back into the single digits. Cold weather for sure when you compare to where we've been. 30s and kind of foggy. We won't lose the clouds today. Maybe southwest Minnesota seeing a little bit of sunshine, trying to. It's generally just going to be kind of a cloudy day. And a couple of flurries. You can see the radar light up at times with some flurries, although they won't last throughout the whole afternoon. They'll be around here and there. Temps in the low 20s for later on today, but look at the wind chills. They stay in the single digits all day long. And look at how cold we're going to be here for the next several days. Yes, those wind chills will be biting down in the negative category. Of course, more on that a little bit, and we'll talk about minor snow chances as well.
Mace, thank you. We now turn to New Orleans, where at least 10 people are dead and more than 30 people are hurt after a driver rammed into a crowd on Bourbon Street. Police are still releasing new information. Cece, I know you've been looking into this. What do we know so far?
Yeah, if you look behind me, this is actually brand new video into our newsroom. We're now seeing what things look like in daylight. Bourbon Street and the crime scene is blocked off. There's still a large police presence, and it's hard to miss the debris and personal belongings scattered around the street. So that's the right now. But here's how we got here. Authorities say around 3:15 this morning, a man intentionally rammed his pickup truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street during New Year's Eve celebrations and then opened fire on police officers when he crashed, hitting two officers. We're told both officers are in stable condition right now. More than 30 others were injured and at least 10 people were killed. Authorities say the suspect is also dead. Police say it's unclear how many victims were locals, but preliminary information shows the majority are locals versus tourists.
Last night, we had over 300 officers out here. And because of the intentional mindset of this perpetrator who went around our barricades in order to conduct this, he was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did.
Yeah, the FBI is involved in this investigation now. They say they were working to investigate the incident as an act of terrorism because improvised explosive devices were found, but the agency still needs to confirm if they were viable explosives.
So, Cece, I know that, one, this is a terrible situation. Lots of people talking about it. And I know this crash happened just hours before the city is expected to host the All-State Sugar Bowl. Lots of people coming into town. What are authorities saying about that event?
Yeah, police have ramped up security, we're told, before the playoff game. Police say they want the community and visitors to continue enjoying their time there despite the tragedy, but, you know, just stay away from Bourbon Street.
Man, that's going to be hard to do. That's one of the main staples. Cece, thank you very much. And, you know, back here at home, we're following a series of incidents overnight in Minneapolis. We'll start with a heavy police presence in South Minneapolis. Our photographer was on scene in the Lowry Hill East neighborhood. That's near Colfax Avenue South and West 27th Street. Right now, police haven't said what happened here, and as soon as we get more information, we'll be sure to update you. Also overnight, police arrested a suspect in a shooting on Emerson Avenue North in Minneapolis. Police say just before midnight that they were called to a home and found a man with a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Investigators say that they believe that two people knew each other. Then just before 2 a.m., officers tell us they were called to University Avenue in northeast Minneapolis for a hit-and-run crash. Police say they found a woman severely hurt, and their preliminary information indicates that she was walking when she was hit by a vehicle that left the scene. The woman was brought to the hospital, but right now we do not know her condition. So several new laws went into effect in Minnesota overnight, and it means changes to things like minimum wage and how you buy tickets to events online. Audrey Russo has been preparing us for the changes throughout the week and has even more from the state capitol.
Lawmakers are making transparency in pricing their New Year's resolution for 2025. Several transparent pricing laws are going into effect today. The first one, nicknamed the Taylor Swift bill, the Ticketing Fairness Act, requires Ticketmaster, StubHub, and other sellers to have all-in pricing. That means you know the total price of the ticket plus all fees up front. Another bill going into effect bans what lawmakers call junk fees. This means businesses can't add additional charges for goods and services when you pay if they weren't listed on the initial price tag. So we're talking about things like health and wellness fees at restaurants, additional surcharges on hotel stays. Governor Walz tweeted about these bills in the last 24 hours saying, quote, "When companies charge hidden fees at checkout, it can cost families thousands of dollars." Lawmakers are also targeting high costs on the more unavoidable parts of life, like a new law capping copays for life-saving medication. In health plans regulated by the state, copays on items like inhalers, insulin, and EpiPens will have to be limited to $25 a month. Other medical supplies like test strips and syringes will be capped at $50 a month. And another new law has to do with salary expectations. So if you're looking for a new job in the new year, Minnesota employers now must list the salary ranges on their job postings. There's a catch though, it only applies to companies with 30 or more employees. Back to you.
The minimum wage in Minnesota is going up. Starting today, all employers will be required to pay their workers $11.13 an hour. In the Twin Cities, rates went up over the summer and now they'll rise again. In Minneapolis, it will increase to $15.97 for large and small businesses, and that's a 40-cent increase. Then in St. Paul, macro and large businesses will also increase pay to $15.97 an hour. Small and micro businesses will not change their rates until July 1st. When that happens, small business rates will rise to $15 an hour and micro businesses will go up to $13.25. Minneapolis appears one step closer to having the police department under federal oversight. KARE 11 has confirmed through multiple sources that the city and U.S. Department of Justice have reached a tentative deal on a consent decree, which will mandate changes to MPD following George Floyd's murder. The agreement was first reported by the Minnesota Star Tribune. According to sources, the city will look over the document on Monday in a closed meeting, with an open session and a vote possibly to follow. Police accountability groups say this needs to get done before President Trump takes office because his administration previously opposed consent decrees.
We've been decrying the lack of progress and the fact that nothing has been done for months and months.
And Minneapolis is already under state oversight through an agreement signed in 2023 with the Minnesota Department of Human Rights. Today also begins a statewide ban on PFAs, also known as forever chemicals, in a wide variety of products. It's considered the country's strictest ban on the chemicals. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency says long-term exposure to PFAS or PFAS is even in small amounts can affect human health and are associated with an elevated risk of weaker immune systems, liver problems, lower birth rate, and also certain cancers. The law requires new products sold or distributed in 11 categories, but made without PFAS. That includes things like cleaning products, cookware, cosmetics, kid products, and textile furnishings like bedding and towels.
These are products where there is a greater potential for exposure, but also these are products that are further along in the moving away from PFAS. Many of these products have alternatives or have moved that way already.
And we have much more on the new law and the changes expected in the coming years online right now at KARE11.com.
Well, before we get too far into the new year, we have new numbers from TSA on travelers in 2024. It was a really busy year at the airport across the country. Agents screened more than 900 million people this year. That's about 5% more than 2023. The total includes the record-breaking holiday travel period, with roughly 40 million people going through security in the last 2 weeks. At MSP this year, the TSA has screened more than 14 million people. That's over 1 million more than the previous year. And a quick heads up for Metro Transit riders. You'll notice a few services changed today. The light rail lines and Metro bus routes will follow Sunday schedules. The North Star commuter line is also not operating today. You can find a list of changes on Metro Transit's website. Hey, you may have become a millionaire overnight. Just a few hours ago, we learned $2 million tickets were sold in the Minnesota New Year's raffle. They were bought at Bill's Superette on Viking Boulevard in Now Then and at Casey's General Store on Morgan Street in Tracy. You can go to mnlottery.com to check your tickets. You have until December 31st to claim your prize or the money will be forfeited to the state. So check those numbers. And Minnesota is $1 million richer today after one of last year's grand prizes went unclaimed. It was bought at the Coburns in Delano for the 2024 drawing. It will be used to fund roads, bridges, and environmental projects.